You've been lied to about the importance of your win rate in day trading. In this video, we're going to talk about the dangers of putting an emphasis on your win rate and what to focus on instead. I was recently asked about my win rate, and I'll put it on the screen here. So first, this is my win rate over the past. Now, is that good? Is a 50% win rate good? Well, it depends. Let's have a look at the win rates of some other traders posted in the Top Step Facebook group, the company I earned the funded account with. This trader has an 81% win rate. Is that good? I mean, his win rate is clearly better than mine, much better. So that must mean his trading is better too, right? Well, no, actually his expectancy is $16. So even though his win rate is 81%, based on these stats, he actually averages almost $40 less per trade, showing clearly how misleading win rate can be. Now, how about this trader? His win rate's 62%. Still significantly higher than mine, right? But look at his expectancy. It's only $3.29. And if you put his stats head to head with my stats, again, even though his win rate is still higher, his profitability is not. Now, this trader has a win rate of 41% with an expectancy of $11. So there, you can see a lower win rate than my data, but based on these stats, his performance is still profitable. In fact, even with a win rate of 41%, his expectancy is almost the same as the trader with an 81% win rate. So you can see clearly that when we stack these examples, it's just obvious how incredibly misleading and often arbitrary even win rate actually is. Here's the problem. Your win rate hides the effectiveness of your trading. And why is that? Because you can have an 80% win rate and still be losing money. So win rate is a misleading metric, and essentially win rate is a lie. If you want a number that actually shows the effectiveness of your trading, you need expectancy. Notice in this document, the expectancy is profitable. You need to look at your expectancy, which is how much you can expect to make on average every time you place a trade. And if the number is positive, that means you're profitable. If the number is negative, that means you're not profitable. If you're negative, you should be working on reducing the expectancy, getting it closer to zero. And if your number is positive, you should be working on increasing your expectancy so that you stand to gain more every time that you trade. Now, that could be taking less trades or taking better trades, but win rate is a lie, and this is why, because it doesn't show you if you're actually profitable or not. Now, mind you, that's just for this data set, okay? Past performance is no guarantee of future performance. Just because a trader shows profitability, me in this case, over one data set, is no guarantee that on the next series of trades that they'll show profitability there as well. The game starts over every day. That means you have to fight this fight and you have to play this game every single day, like it's your first day. That's the mindset that I'm working on mastering, is never taking any past success for granted. And just because I earned a funded account and showed profitability, not taking that for granted, not loosening up, staying sharp, continuing to work on my game, continuing to improve, because that's what this game demands. Day trading is one of the most challenging ways to make money in the entire world because you're going up against some of the smartest minds in the world. However, it is possible and requires sharpness. I'm trying to step my game up and make sure that my expectancy number is increasing in size or at least being maintained. But my goal is constant and never-ending improvement. So that's what I recommend because the game demands it. Whether or not you like that mindset, day trading is extremely difficult and requires that you continually work on your weaknesses. And this little guy illustrates the point perfectly. This is an inchworm. Now, the tail of the inchworm represents your worst trades and the head represents your best trades. Now, notice that his tail has to move up first in order for his head to move forward. And what the inchworm concept, which was created by Jared Tendler and explained in the book, The Mental Game of Trading, explains is that you actually have to work on your weaknesses or your worst trades and improving those before your A game or your best trades can improve. Instead of continuing to push higher and higher, for example, focusing on win rate, instead of that, focus on correcting your greatest weaknesses consistently, right? Consistently is the key word. And if you look at your expectancy, that will show you whether you are doing that or not. And by the way, here's the formula for calculating your expectancy. You can take a screenshot if you want to get to it later. So now you understand why win rate is a lie and what you should focus on instead, which is expectancy. But what happens if you don't listen to this message? What happens if you fall into the trap of trading your win rate, which is exactly what will happen to you if you focus on win rate instead of expectancy? You will fall into the trap of trading your win rate, you will be almost guaranteeing that you fall into something called gambler's fallacy. The gambler's fallacy is an error in reasoning where individuals believe that the outcome of a random event, read trade, is more likely to occur or not occur based on the outcomes of previous unrelated events. In other words, you think your next trade's going to win because your last few trades won. This mistaken belief, again, it's a mistaken belief, ignores that the true randomness of the events, read markets, can lead to misguided decisions and predictions and bad trades and losing money. Example, if a person flips a coin and it lands on heads 5 times in a row. In other words, if a person trades in their account and gets 5 wins in a row in their trading account, then that trader falls into the gambler's fallacy trap by possibly believing that the next flip is more likely to result in tails or the next trade is more likely to win. However, and this is the key, in reality, each coin toss remains independent with a 50-50 chance of heads or tails regardless of the previous outcome. And here's another illustration that shows this perfectly. Heads, 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 heads. So you're long, you're long, you're long, you're long, and you think, okay, I'll just buy long again, thinking the market is still going up, only to then buy at the top and have the market reverse on you and lose money on all of those winning trades. Why? Because you thought it was definitely long next. And the key here is that your trade, the trade that you take, has its own probability. And the probability of that trade is not based on the probability of previous trades. That's the trap. And maybe one of the best examples comes from this guy, Pro the Doge, formerly known as the Dogecoin millionaire. And what happened? He maxed out all of his credit cards and got loans from family and friends to put over $200,000 on Dogecoin. And soon had $3 million in his account. You can see the screenshot below. Now it's worth less than $50,000. And remember, he took on debt to make that $3 million that's now worth $50,000, which means that he is now at a 6-figure loss on this position. And when he was up and could have sold and made literally millions just by exiting his position or selling off some of his position, he said he refused and wasn't willing to sell until his position hit $10 million, clearly succumbing to the trap of gambler's fallacy. And the real mistake here is thinking that you are more likely to win because you've won in the past. Do not make that mistake. Otherwise, you will be setting yourself up for failure.